Hello learners, integrating media and technology with flipped model pedagogy. The flipped classroom is associated with both student-centric pedagogy and the use of technology and media to provide an effective and engaging learning environment. I always used to tell in the flipped approach, the three things are important. One is environment. What environment you are going to create for the learning to take place. Is it a content management system or a learning management system? It's a learning management system. In the learning environment, if the content is not there, it is not going to make any difference. By default, with the proper environment, with the proper content, coupled with proper assessment, the approach will be a pleasant approach. The flipped classroom will get success. While media and technology are required for flipping the classroom, they can add value in many ways to the blend of in-class and out-class of experience. So, how do you integrate technology and media with the educational process to improve the learning? Our ultimate target, it is not the question of making your teaching at ease, it is making the student learning at ease. The path which might we travel, it might be a difficult path, but we wish the students when they travel, they have to be kept at ease. That is the approach which we are focusing on the flipped learning. There is an abundance of research literature supporting how active learning increases student retention, motivation and persistence with the class material. Therefore, it is important not to use the technology or media for just absorbing the inert knowledge, but for more active participation in a meaningful task that use the knowledge and skill. It is not just to dump the material online and to make the students to learn, but the material should infuse and induce active learning to the students inside the classroom. To be successful, one must first understand the pedagogical principles that are specific to the use of technology and media in a learning environment. It is important to appropriately select and connect the instructional technology with the content, learning objectives, method of instructions, student needs and abilities, learning strategies, the pace of learning and assessment and evaluation strategies. When do you choose the media format? It is best to first define the learning objectives and then choose the strategies and method that will best facilitate the intended learning, and then choose the media that will best deliver the learning message. This is because some media work better than others when it comes to delivering certain type of content, context, and for learners with a different level of knowledge. So, as I mentioned earlier in the first week, based on the content, select the media. Is it for factual information? Is it for procedures? It is for learning the principle? It is for skilled or perpetual motor act? Or is it for attitudinal change? Based on the content or idea, select the media. For example, for the learning objective, the student will be able to identify parts of a neuron, showing an illustration of a neuron with the labels, naming each of the parts for students to study is more effective than a long audible file talking about for the various parts of the neuron. One of my colleagues when went to Germany, what happened? The teaching strategy of the IT itself is different. They were teaching to the students about the different units for the measurement, SI units, all different units, and they made them to measure the height of the individual. The approach what they followed, it was really different, my colleague was mentioning. The reason is they never told you SI centimeter is equal to this much millimeter, millimeter is equal to this much centimeter, centimeter is equal to this much meter. They never made the students to by heart it or take into rote learning. They made the student to measure the individual height. I have to measure two of my friends' individual height. and I have to report one height in the centimeter, one height in the millimeter, and they have to measure my height. I have to evaluate others. So it indirectly made the students to effectively procure the knowledge or effectively process the knowledge and conceptualized in a better manner. So the process would be more effective for students to process and conceptualize in their minds than an illustration with lot of descriptive text that might be more difficult to piece together. Because if I have too much of material, it is very difficult for me to piece together, because my mind will not accept the holistic picture. I see each item in each zigzag format. So I need to put the pieces together to assimilate what exactly it means. So the ways to integrate technology and media into the flipped model, what are the ways? Below are the general examples of ways to integrate media and technology into the flipped class model. Note that these are just an example, and the selection and design of these activities are dependent on the learning objectives, type of the content and audience. Let me look into each aspect one by one. Before the class, the integration of media and technology with instructional material. Examples for creating media material for students to get exposure before the class. The readings, including chapters, articles and journals. Examples or explanation including several varied work examples of content in terms of math, in terms of statistics procedure, or animations demonstrating the process and concepts, or simulation for modeling professional training. So we have also told for simulation for physics and humanity subjects, phet.colorado.edu, where they can get the good simulation. The text and image for illustrating parts of a thing or steps in a process. Interactive multimedia modules. Video case studies that offer multiple interpretations or points of view that then help students prepare their argument for an in-class discussion or debate. In all these examples, online class or learning management system like Moodle or anything can be used to make them accessible to the students. Without this, other things may not work appropriately. So LMS need to get coupled. Integration of media and technology with motivational activities. Because when you are going to make the same video, same material to appear online without any motivating factor, without any inducing factor, why the student should look into all those material online? It's not going to make a difference. Something it should trigger them to learn from the online material or from the LMS. So it need to motivate them to prepare before the class. After studying some worked examples, student answer questions by solving problems using the question pool which is already available in the LMS. Predominantly inline quiz really helps them a lot, propping, to questioning them and to making them in between to check whether are they following the right path. After studying some animations of concepts, the students create and submit questions through LMS to be addressed in the class. So either they can question the teacher during the classroom scenario, or they can, after studying the online material, what are the questions which arises to them, they can put it in their online mode LMS, which will be addressed by the teacher in the class or any other peers during the discussion board. We have discussed Padlet last week, same manner. After watching several videos, case studies that demonstrate the ethical issues and questions, the students share perspectives or develop an argument using LMS online discussion or video conferencing. After reading a chapter from a textbook on principles of design, the students search to find good examples and bad examples on the internet, design principle to bring to share in a class. Integration of media and technology for in-class activities. So what are the technology tools and media and technology to used for in-class activities? Collaborative groups create and share work in a real-time environment using Google Docs and wikis. Engaging students to work out a problem, collecting student response with clickers or plickers. Individual or group work with the prediction modeling, statistics or mathematics using online simulation softwares. Group discussion and sharing perspective between two classes in two different LMS locations using a video conferencing. Individual practice solving problems using LMS question pools. The instructor role shifts in the classroom to be a guide, facilitator or expert tutor. How the media and technology need to get integrated for post-class activities. So, for post-class or after-class or extended learning, we need to integrate certain technology. The students extend learning after the class by collaborating, sharing, creating and displaying student projects using Google tools. Student extend in-class activity by solving more complex problem from the question pool through LMS. Student extend learning after the class by connecting with the peers using video conferencing or Padlet. Any of this technology or media formats need to focus more on supporting active learning strategies than on presenting a dictating traditional teaching practice. Any of this technology or media formats can be used to allow students to be more active in the learning process by collaborating on the projects with other students, solving problems individually with others, or exchanging or discussing the critical issues. If this has been taken into consideration, the learning will become really happy learning.